Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in the Conqueror. It's been a while since we've been in the Conqueror, so I thought, let's jump in her and give her a shot. It's time to burn some fools down. Y'all know how it is. Now, I am not one to shy away from using armor piercing in the Conqueror if people give me the shot. However, more often than not, the Conqueror is actually just better using the HE than it is with its AP. And I know what you're about to say. Well, Spartan, it's got short fuse armor piercing. It can citadel the crap out of cruisers. Kind of. I have been overpinning every cruiser that I've shot with my freaking armor piercing of my Conqueror lately. Broadside Alaskas, angled freaking, everything. Like, literally everything. My Conqueror overpin tonight. Like, just straight up refuses to citadel. The most easy freaking things in the world to citadel. And yet, I've come to the decision that I don't think that I'm going to, unless there's a battleship at close range going full broadside, where I'm guaranteed to get like 30 or 40k damage with penetrations. I just don't think that it's actually worth using the AP on the Conqueror anymore. At least not in my games that I've been in so far. Like, I've tried. Like I said, I've had some really, really easy games that I should be dev striking these cruisers, and it's just not happening. I'm just overpinning everything. So I just say, screw it. And I started using my HE, pretty much primarily only HE. We hit him for 16,000 damage, and we get the double fire, which means an immediate damage con, and of course he goes behind the rock and disappears, which is real unfortunate because if we could get another double fire on him real quick, that'd be amazing. But yeah, unfortunately the only person over here with us that can spot anything is me in a battleship and this Mino. This Mino has no intentions of ever doing any spotting in this match, which is real unfortunate because he's the only one with any sort of concealment. But don't worry folks, the Conqueror's got this. It has the super heals. The only thing that I saw over here at the moment, I mean, sure, there are two more battleships heading this direction, but was a Key and an Iowa. And no offense to either of those guys, but they don't scare me in the Conqueror. And the reason for that is because I can angle against them. It's really not that difficult. Like, when they shoot at me, I can go in or I can go out and angle my armor and take minimal damage from them. Sure, they can maybe rake my superstructure for, 15k damage if it comes down to it. But honestly, the Conqueror's ability to heal, and we have 4 super heals, just allows it to do some things that other battleships just cannot. As the Montana gets its first death strike on our enemy Mogami. You gotta love that. Remember, Montana's bad, guys. But anyway, we got a shot there. We didn't get a fire, and this Key is just going to play keep away. This man wants nothing to do with firing at us anymore. But the Iowa, on the other hand, has no, I guess common sense would be the way to put it. But this guy, he wants to fight us. He has no qualms about disengaging our fight. So we get a fire on him and hit him for 11k. Now, for whatever reason, this man is going to hold on to that fire. And unfortunately for him, we're going to go ahead and reach out and touch this man again. As he goes dark because I go behind the island, which is real unfortunate. And again, this is all down to the fact that I am the only one spotting on this team. Or at least on this side. Iowa gets smacked by somebody back in the middle of the map. We get another shot at him, and this is going to be another nasty hit. As we hit mostly superstructure and just absolutely smash that man. 7 penetrations and another fire, and then of course the Minotaur yoinks it. Of course he does. That's what they do best. That's all the Minos that I've been in on my team do. Like, they literally won't shoot anything until it's low health, and then they yoink it. Like, that is all that they do. But it doesn't matter. We don't care. As long as the guy dies, I don't really care who kills him. But we're at 43k. Now, I will say this about the Conqueror. Now, I run Azure Lane Nelson. You guys know this. It gives you kind of the best of everything. It gives you the dispersion, but it also gives you the tank build with the extra heals. And on top of that, it has the Big 7 perk. And the Big 7 perk increases the amount of damage that you get with your AP and HE shell. I just potato dead shot. Don't worry about it. But what this ends up being is a absolute tactical nuke every time that you shoot anything. Anything. Whether it be citadeling cruisers, whether it be absolutely destroying battleships, no matter who it is, the Conqueror can just dominate. As long as it's not a Yami shooting it. The Yami has a unique ability to remove Conquerors. Because Conquerors, everybody knows they have the super heal, but unfortunately, when you're being citadeled by a Yami, you don't get to heal a whole lot of that back as we double fire the Montana, which triggers an immediate super heal, or immediate damage con. But we were up against a Yami in a match on, what is it called? Sea of Fortune. And we went around the right side. Conqueror versus a Yami. I absolutely nuked that man. And I sent him back to port while bow tanking me with there's a perma double fire. You gotta love it. He gets rid of one double, gets another double for his troubles. He hits me solidly for 12k, but at the end of the day, still got a lot more, and he goes broadside and gets absolutely pummeled by our Yami that's right behind me. And like I said, this guy is double fired already. We're slowing our shot down. We want to make sure we get a shot of AP into this man, hoping to finish him off. And unfortunately, you can see we get 3 shatters and a ricochet off the amazing belt armor of the Montana. But it doesn't matter. We took enough off of him, and he's going behind the island. This man is no doubt in my mind dead. There's nothing he can do at this point. He already triggered his heal. He's already lost all of his hit points. He's going to die. But Key comes out in front of us. So we're going to go ahead and take a shot at him. I mean, if I had AP still loaded, this would be the perfect time to use it. But unfortunately, I don't. I switched back to the HE, not anticipating the Key just backing out in front of me. But we hit the man for another, I think it was 4k total. It was not a very good hit, but we did knock out his torp tubes. But anyway, back to the Yami. I nuked the bow of a Yami for 23,000 damage with high explosive and killed him. What do you do against that? It's not like you can angle against high explosive. It's either going to damage you or it's not. And when it doesn't, it still has the chance to set fires. So that is why the Conqueror is so strong. Sure, it doesn't have the armor that the other ships have. Sure, it doesn't have the hit points that the other ships have. But with those 4 super heals, it actually has more hit points if it gets the chance to use all those super heals to maximum ability. It actually ends up with more hit points than any other of the battleships, which is crazy when you think about it. But that all depends on actually getting the chance to use those heals. And more often than not, people tend to just be dumb in the Conqueror. They go out there and they get themselves into trouble, and they go broadside on, and they get removed very quickly. Conquerors do not have a lot of armor. And they also have a massive superstructure. Reminiscent of American and German superstructures, in the fact that you can stack easily 15 to 20k salvos on a Conqueror superstructure if you get a good salvo. Ask Peak, I literally just did that to him tonight with him in the Conqueror. I was stream sniping in my Monty, and there you see eight penetrations on this on this enemy Conqueror, and we get the fire. We're already at 127,000 damage. These guys are all running from us. And this is the other downside of the Conqueror. The Conqueror is not the most mobile ship in the world, and it has very, very slow turrets, especially if you're running the big 7 perk, because you cannot use the extra turret rotation perk, because they're in the same slot. So, trading the turret rotation for that extra nuclear damage, it's a give and take. Either you're going to enjoy it or you're not. And honestly, I would take that trade any day of the week as we score a permanent fire on the Conqueror, giving him a little taste of his own medicine. And there's just nothing he can do. Like, he's trying to dodge, but I'm just anticipating. He's pretty predictable, so I'm just anticipating where he's going to go, and we're going to stack another hit on him and maybe another fire here. But not as good a hit. We did knock out some more AA, though. But he is on fire, and you can see Mino is starting to, or no, that was Yami. Yami's starting to shoot him. And I think he's out of the range of the Mino. But you can see that dispersion's awful, which is never preferable. But we are still trying to finish this man off. We're almost in range to be able to start shooting at the Alaska and the Montana as we get another 5,000 damage on this Conqueror. I was anticipating this guy's health going up at any moment. Like, I was waiting for the super heal to go up. But clearly he doesn't. And you can see I'm starting to look at the other direction because I kind of figured that the guys were going to finish him off. And they surely do. Now that leaves a destroyer that's going into Alpha. We have a cruiser in Alpha right now. I don't know what that cruiser is, but he could easily kill that Fletcher. Most cruisers can easily handle a destroyer. But anyway, we have the Alaska out here, and we have the Montana, and we've got to close the distance. This is the other thing. It doesn't have the range that the other battleships have at the tier either, which is for the best, honestly, because the last thing you want is a Conqueror being able to shoot 20 kilometers. I mean, for God's sakes. 18.6 or whatever it is currently without my buff. Without my booster, sorry, had to yawn. Without the booster, the epic battle booster or whatever you call it. Yeah, without that, it's not over 19 kilometers. I want to say it's 18.6 or 18.7. But that means we have to chase these guys down. And while it is doing okay speed, it's 29.3 knots. It loses a lot of speed in any sort of turns. So getting up to the speed in these sorts of situations, yes, it can start to close on a Montana that's a full dispersion build, or the Alaska if he's turning and trying to dodge. So we can close, and as you can see, we have closed. So we get a shot at the Montana. Beautiful broadside look. The guy is absolutely begging for it. Of course, we've got HE loaded. He turns out. It's like he was waiting for my shot. Like, he didn't care that anybody else was shooting at him, but as soon as Spartan shoots, he's got to try to dodge. And Alaska actually shoots back at us, and he's using HE, which is kind of hilarious. But we're going to go ahead and, since Montana is sailing away from us, he's right at the edge of our range, I don't think we can actually really hit him reliably. So we're going to go with the Alaska instead, who has already shown that he has no intentions of trying to dodge as we reach out and touch the man, getting 2 full penetrations and a fire on him. He immediately damage cons a single fire, which is something you just cannot do in today's World of Warships Legends. You damage con a single fire, you are almost guaranteed to be double fired in the next salvo. Like, that's just how it goes. It's like it's built into the game for that to happen. It's like, we need to punish this man. He thinks he can damage con a single fire, so immediately give him a double fire. But he actually gets away with it. Doesn't get a double fire, but he does get smashed for 5 full penetrations, and that takes us up to 171,000 damage. And again, he fires back at us. We take minimal damage. We're angled against him, plus we kind of dodged a lot of his shells. But you can see he's broadside on, he's begging for it. There's just only so much you can do when you're up against this odds this late in the match, and you're the only one in position to be shot at. Montana's gone, the destroyer's not being shot at, and Alaska goes down as we set another fire. But again, didn't get much in the way of kills, but really did showcase just how nasty this ship is. People do not want to fight a good Conqueror player. Like, they just don't. And sure, you could shoot AP, but honestly, the thing that makes the Conqueror so freaking devastating isn't that it has good AP, because it does, even though it doesn't have the greatest penetration angles. It has solid AP. But the HE, that ability to hit somebody for 12 to 20,000 damage and set fires every 25 seconds is actually disgusting. Accurate too. Like, it's not, it can be a little wonky at times, as we saw with some of the shotguns we were getting against the ships early in the match. But you can see it can be a little wonky. But honestly, this thing is pretty accurate. And more often than not, you're stacking 7, 8, 9 shells on target with pretty nasty results coming from that AG. Which is why I don't think I'm going to, unless I know that I'm going to get a perfect broadside opportunity on somebody, I just don't think I'm going to be using the AP that much in this ship. Because you get just as good a results as the AP with the HE, and you get those damage over times of the fire. So I don't think it makes much sense unless you know that you're going to be able to Citadel something. Because like I said, it just doesn't have the Citadel, like, it overpins with AP. Which you wouldn't think it would, because you would think it has the short fuse armor piercing of the British, but honestly, for me, it overpins a lot. And when you overpin cruisers, you actually would have been better off and probably would have Citadeled them had you used the AP or HE. But Fletcher finally goes down to our team, and we wrap this game up. A solid game, not an amazing game, but a solid game. 176,000 damage, 80 targets hit. Third on the team because the Montana and the Minotaur. I don't know what the Montana did, but the Minotaur for sure ended up getting some of the yoinks off of us. But if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.